The Koalition.
So, Metal Gear Survive. This game is currently it has a beta that is currently available, I believe, on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I'm not 100% sure about the Xbox One part, but the beta is out there right now. And I know that Tony was playing it last night on the Throwdown channel. I did get a chance to check out some of that. No, not last night. That was the night before. So I think that the overall perception of the game is that there's a lot of people that will not support it because they know of the history between Kojima and Konami. But Gary, you wanted to ask the question, do we think that Metal Gear Survive will end up becoming a sleeper hit? So I want to answer that question first and say, based upon what happened with Star Wars Battlefront 2, I would say anything is possible because there are a lot of people out there that would say, well, this has microtransactions and I won't bother buying it, but then they'll still buy it. With this game, I haven't really seen anything that makes me interested in wanting to buy the game. I will say that, though, definitely it's a game where it does cost $40. Okay, we can make that clear right now. However, there are a ton of microtransactions in it, and they've already confirmed that there will be microtransactions in this game. So I would say I'm not going to completely rule it out because there's some people that will buy this game. Do I think it's going to be a sleeper hit? I have no idea. I do think that there are a lot of other titles coming out this year that people are more excited for and will essentially sell more than this game will. But then again, when I look at games like Ghost Recon Wildlands, these games were on that top 10 list also for the best-selling games of 2017. And a lot of those games, to me, I mean, obviously, they are going to offer, what I see so far, those looks like they offer more content than Metal Gear Survive. But essentially, it's very similar in terms of the type of game that it is and how it feels. So I would not be surprised if that does become a sleeper hit. But I think it's going to definitely be critically panned by a lot of fans of Kojima because they're going to be like, this game, why does this even have Metal Gear attached to it? And they're going to be very vocal about that. But that's just my opinion. It may still sell well. So, Gary, what are your thoughts? I know you're a huge Metal Gear fan. Do you think this is going to be a sleeper hit?
Okay, so let me build into my answer gradually here. So yeah, like a few days ago, me and Tony were talking about this on the Discord, and I made the joke, like we all know I come out with spontaneous statements here and there that are quite funny, or well, funny to me, probably not to everyone else, but I came out with the statement and said Metal Gear Survive is the next PUBG. Now Tony responded like, oh, look at Gary trolling. And yeah, I mean, I was trolling, but I do believe there's some truth here to that. Now survival games are in right now. Like, you have PUBG, you have Fortnite, the Battle Royale mode, and there's a lot of other survival type clones and everything. Now, I haven't played the beta for Metal Gear Survive, but I've seen a lot of headlines like Metal Gear Survive is fun, but it's not Metal Gear, stuff of that nature. This game isn't trying to be the Metal Gear that Hideo Kojima created. It's not trying to do that. It's trying to do something completely different. And if people are saying it's fun, that's fundamentally all they need. Like if it's really that fun, it can catch on and it can become a hit. That's why PUBG took off, because it was fun, like fundamentally it's just a fun game, and those are the kind of games that get, a grassroots kind of audience and player base behind them, and then it just kind of explodes. So I believe it has that potential because the engine they're using is great, and it's, it would be a shame if we didn't get to see any more of that engine, even though Kojima left. And let me also say that I'm a huge Hideo Kojima fan because of what he's done with Metal Gear Solid. And just like everyone else, just like Tony, I was like, when they first announced this game, I was like, hell no. Like, because, I'm a big Kojima fan and I want to support Kojima. So I was like, this ain't no Metal Gear, man. I'm not supporting this. But now I've had time to kind of change my, thinking on that a little bit, because Kojima's doing well now. He's doing his own thing. He's where he needs to be. You know, he's in the driver's seat. He can make decisions, and he doesn't have to answer to Konami anymore. So that's great. So we have, you know, we should have that peace and that respect now to know that Kojima's where he is and he's doing what he wants to do. And we should be willing to accept the fact that, you know, Konami has Metal Gear Survive and they're doing something new with it, with the assets they already have. So I'm now a lot more open towards Metal Gear Survive. Whether I'm going to play it or buy it, I don't know. Like, maybe, we'll see. But I'm open to it, and I do want to hear what the actual reception of the game is.
Very good points. Absolutely. Okay, Max, you have any thoughts on this particular game? Do you believe that it could be a sleeper hit?
So when Gary said the PUBG thing, at first I thought he was trolling too, but stuff, I think that there's a lot of legitimacy to that because it's very fun to play. I said this in the chat too. It's very fun to play, but it's like soulless, which, I mean, there are games that exist like that. I'd argue Call of Duty is that way. Like, Call of Duty is still quote unquote fun to play, but like, it's soulless. Like, you can tell it's just made to like make money and appeal to people, you know? But and there's just a place for that. There's a market for that. Like, I could, based on what I've seen and what I've read from that game, for Metal Gear Survive, I'm sure that if I had 3 friends to play it with, we'd have a fun night out of it. Like, I'm sure we would enjoy it, and maybe even a couple times. But the point is, I guess I'm not looking for anything else. What I kind of expected from the game in the first place, like, I was surprised to hear it was fun, but I wasn't expecting like it to be like this story heavy game or like this emotional game or impactful or anything like that. I expected it at like its best to just be like playable and kind of fun with multiple people. Cause even the worst games out there can be fun with your friends, you know? Like Army of Two aren't very good games objectively, but when you're playing it with a friend still, you still have like a blast playing it. So I imagine it's like that. I don't know how much of a sleeper hit it would be though. I don't know if it would be like uber successful, because I feel like the Metal Gear name is still only big with like gaming enthusiasts and people who like know Kojima, and there's still going to be those people that won't support it and everything. Even if they had fun playing it, they still might not buy it, you know? So there might be that. But I think that people who know what they're getting into, I think there's going to be a good amount of people who know what they're getting into and will throw money at it. I think it'll do all right. I don't know if it'll necessarily be a sleeper hit or not. I guess it depends on how they support it and what goes on with that. Because if this turns into like a service game, which let's be honest, it probably will be, maybe it'll get like an influencer following, like on YouTube and everything, and Twitch, and people will jump onto it, and it will grow like PUBG did. I could actually see that happening. I don't know enough about it. If I played it myself, I'm sure I'd be able to tell you a lot more, but I just don't really care to. But yeah, it's surprising. And I know that a lot of people are still denying this, but I mean, I guess the gameplay concepts of Metal Gear, especially Metal Gear Solid 5, which from what I've heard and from what I've seen, this takes a lot out of. Like, the gameplay in Metal Gear Solid 5 was amazing, and they're using a lot of that. So like, it was half the work was already done for them. So it makes sense that it controls well and is fun to play. So it's interesting though. It'll be an interesting little story to follow up on as the year goes on.
Very good points. One thing I will say, and then I'm going to give Dana the mic. One thing I will give Konami credit on is the fact that they made this game $40. Because if they made this game $60, like every other game, I'd be like, and then you also have the microtransactions. Okay, I'd be like, okay, I'm not a fan of that. So $40, maybe, possibly somebody may want to try it out. You know, we know PUBG was $30 when that came out, so a little bit less than you would than a retail game is a good decision for this type of game, because it might entice some people to give it a shot. But $60, nah, son, not for this. I wouldn't say $60, but that's just my personal opinion. So Dana, do you think Metal Gear Survive will be a sleeper hit? And if so, are you planning on picking it up?
Yes, no. Here's why. I think that the game, from what I've seen so far, does look a lot of fun. And the concept is really fun. And I think it's like it was already explained, it's very generic and it's an easy way to make money. It's a cash grab game. But at the same time, it's fun. I do believe that people are petty and they probably won't support it as much as they would have had Konami not been so well known for the big fallout with Hideo. I do believe that there are some people out there who's going to just be like, screw it, it looks fun, and may not be that, what's that word? That not necessarily petty, but like just doesn't really care about what happened. They just want to play the game. I do see it being successful, you know, like not something like PUBG status. I don't see it being, you know, this big phenomenon that, you know, takes over people's lives. But I do see it as being like, hey, did you play that game? No, check it out. And people, you know, it's gaining a little bit of success by word of mouth and also through the streams by just looking at it. Because when you look at it, it does look like fun. I do think that with time that it could be successful, but again, not PUBG status that just literally came out of nowhere. The game itself is not perfect. So that also will hinder it as well. And I do feel like after a while, it's something you'll get bored with playing. So it's going to be successful, but it's going to be limited. I mean, there's too many petty people out there. So we'll see.
Yeah, you're right about that. Because all the reception I've seen so far, a lot of people, you know, a lot of thumbs down on the videos, so on and so forth. I mean, so a lot of people, and then even the comments have said that they won't buy it, they will not support this game. So it's definitely going to have some people. But overall, yeah, if the game is fun, as you guys all said, if the game is fun, there may be some people there's a lot of people that's still going to pick it up no matter what. But sleeper hit, I have no idea. I can't say that I know because I'm not an expert. I don't know in full confidence if that actually is going to happen because a lot of things happen that I still don't understand. But we'll see what happens. But any final thoughts before we move on to our main topic for today?
I mean, I guess we all thought Battlefront 2 wasn't going to do well, and here it is almost topping the NPDs. So it's possible this could happen too with this game as well.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, even WWE 2K17, the 18 had some type of success. So
there you go.
You know.
So yeah, we'll see.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Go ahead. So go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, you know, do I actually expect it to blow up like PUBG? No, I don't think it's gonna have the same kind of numbers as PUBG. But I just want to emphasize that anything is possible. And we're at a time where survival games are the in thing. So if they bring the right formula, I believe it can do well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that. That sounds good. And I'm going to give a shout out to Mr. Kennedy because I know he is such a huge Metal Gear fan that he's definitely buying this game no matter what. So shout out to you, Kennedy.